Hello everyone! In today's video, we're going to talk about using contractions when speaking to sound more natural. Alright, so when it comes to IELTS writing, we don't want to use contractions, right? IELTS writing is much more formal. But when it comes to IELTS speaking, it's much more informal. So in daily life, English speakers are using contractions all the time. So on TV, in movies, at work, at home, in day-to-day life, contractions are quite normal. So if you want to sound more natural generally and boost your IELTS speaking score, practice using contractions in your speaking. Now, luckily, there are so many that if you could incorporate them right now, it would make a big difference, right? So start small, all right? So if you don't use any contractions at all, which is actually quite normal for beginner English speakers, your speaking will tend to sound quite formal, okay? That's not bad, but we can do better, right? We want you to sound more natural. We want you to boost your speaking score. And using contractions is not too hard once you get into the flow of it. So again, practicing is the best way. So we're going to start with some of the most common and easier ones like I am, I will, I would, and I am not, I will not, I would not. All right, so I am, we're just going to shorten that to I'm. And I am not, it just becomes I'm not. So for example, I am American is fine, but I'm American is shorter, sounds more natural. Or I am a teacher, I'm a teacher. I am a student, I'm a student, all right? So small changes can actually make quite a big difference in both just being more natural, and the IELTS examiners will appreciate it too. What about I am not studying? It just becomes I'm not studying. For example, I'm not studying Spanish anymore. Or I am not exercising much these days. It sounds formal. A quick change to I'm not exercising much these days instantly becomes more informal, which is what we want, more natural. All right, I will just becomes I'll. All right, I will not, I won't. All right, some examples. I will be going to Japan next year, or even better, I'll be going to Japan next year. I will not be going out this weekend. I won't be going out this weekend, right? Small change, big effect. What about I would? We can shorten that to I'd, or I would not becomes I wouldn't. Let me give you some examples. I would buy a new phone if I had the money. How about I'd buy a new iPhone if I had the money? I would not buy the latest iPhone because it's too expensive. We can make it much simpler. I wouldn't buy the latest iPhone because it's too expensive. Very common phrase, I do not have much free time these days. Easy, change it to I don't have much free time these days, or I don't have any free time at the moment. How about I have or I have got? So I have been studying Vietnamese for 2 years. I've been studying Vietnamese for 2 years. I have got, we can say I've got 2 brothers and 1 sister. Things we have and do not have. I have got a pet dog. Much more natural to say I've got a pet dog, or I do not have any pets. I don't have any pets. It might feel a bit crazy, but trust me, the more you can incorporate these, the better. All right, and I'll give you a few more. What about things like I will, you will, she will, he will, they will, we will, right? I will becomes I'll, you will becomes you'll, she will, she'll, he will, he'll, they will, they'll, and we will, we'll, right? Instead of I will be starting at a new school, I'll be starting You'll be starting, she'll be starting, he'll be starting, they'll be starting, we'll be starting. And one final example here. What about, don't forget the I'ds, the you'ds, the she'ds, he'ds, they'ds, and we'ds, right? So instead of I would, I'd, we would, we'd. I'll give you some examples here. When I was a child, my family loved having barbecues. We'd always have them on Saturday nights for someone's birthday. My dad loves pork ribs. He'd eat about 100 of them if we let him. This one night, my dad bought extra ribs because it was my mom's birthday. All right, just an example. It's going to sound more natural, and it'll be, over time, feel more natural to you too. And it just shows you have more confidence in your English and help you get a better score. All right, everyone, so as usual, I always recommend record yourself if you can. Go back and have a listen and see if you are having some instances where you're not using contractions, like the ones we were just talking about, and see if you can incorporate them. And then record yourself one more time, this time including those contractions. Good luck practicing, everyone, and we'll see you next time.